Okay, so here we have this plant. We have this vine. And every branch that's in this vine that does not bear fruit, what happens to it? It gets taken away. It needs to be removed. Okay? Because if that branch is not removed, it affects the entire vine. It affects every vine, the entire vine, and it affects every part that comes out of that, every branch that's connected to that vine. Okay? So the Father taketh away everything that does not bear fruit that's connected to the vine. Now, every branch that beareth fruit, the Father purgeth it. Now, when you think about this purging, you can think about that beautiful rose bush that you are taking care of, or that you see, because some people don't take care of it. But that beautiful rose bush, it has the potential to be the most beautiful thing in the yard. But you have the person that will take care of that bush and a person that will not. Now, the person that will not take care of that bush will only see that one little silly flower that grows every year. It'll have a bunch of stuff hanging off of it, but it only has that one flower that springs up every year, or those couple of flowers, really pretty for the moment that it lasts. Because it's not being taken care of, it doesn't survive and thrive like a normal rose bush would through the whole season. But it does spring forth that one. But the person that will take care of that rose bush knows that you have to purge those bushes. You have to cut them back at the end of the season. And why are you cutting them back? You're cutting them back so that they bring forth more fruit. Are you following what I'm saying? So every branch in this vine, who is Yahushua, every branch, every one of us who are in the Messiah, okay, and bringing forth fruit, the Father's going to purge us. He's going to cut us back at times, because there are things that will happen if he doesn't cut us back. All kind of deadness can happen. All kind of, well, deadness is deadness. Okay, whether it's the bugs get a hold of it or whatever the reason is, it dries out, whatever it is. So we must be purged in order to bring forth more fruit. Okay. John 15, verse 4. Let's go down to verse 4. Abide in me. This is still Yahushua speaking. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. Here's Yahushua saying this. Abide in me and I in you. We're talking about this vine. Now this vine is connected to him and he is connected to this vine. A branch cannot bear fruit of itself. If you see a branch laying on the ground that was connected to a tree or to any source of life that's growing out of the ground, it has no life on it. It's going to die. The longer it sits there, it's going to decay and it's going to rot back to the earth. But everything that's connected to that plant, that life-giving source, is bringing forth fruit, and it is abiding in that source, and it is bringing forth fruit. Okay. It doesn't bring forth fruit of itself. It cannot. Again, if it's disconnected from the source of life, then it's not bringing forth any fruit, because it's dying and decaying and reaching the state of death. Because once it falls off, of course, it still has a little life on it. But if it sits there long enough, like I said, it's going to decay and it's going to rot and it's going to die. So he said, you cannot bear fruit of yourself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. So I've given you that analogy. Let's go to verse 5. I am the vine, ye are the branches. We've made that very clear. He is the vine. Yahushua is the vine. And we are the branches, those that are connected to him. Okay. He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. Here we are still talking about this fruit. Okay. You bring forth much fruit as long as you're connected to the vine. Okay. For without me, ye can do nothing. He's made it very plain. I mean, I know a lot of people have a bunch of goals. They have a lot of plans for life, and they feel like they can do whatever they want to do when they feel like it. But if you're not connected to the vine, if this is not something that's coming out of the source of life, then you're on your own, and you're pretty much not going to survive this thing, because you need to be connected to that source of life in order to do anything. Of course, a lot of people try to do a lot of things on their own, but that is why things fail, because they're doing it on their own. That is why even those that are rich, they get rich, right? But they're always looking over their shoulder. They're always afraid. They're always fearful of who's going to take their stuff, you know, because many of them have gotten it by ill means anyway. So they're always looking over their shoulder, no different than a drug dealer. Sure, he's making lots of mammon. He's making lots of fiat currency, but that doesn't mean that he has peace of mind. That doesn't mean that he's at rest. That doesn't mean that he feels safe. All of that stuff is what true prosperity is. And except you are connected to that vine and everything that you do comes out of the source of that vine, then it's going to die. There's nothing but death there. Okay. He says, so I'm telling you that not one thing can you accomplish which pleases the Father. You're not able to please the Father on your own. That's what I want to get at now. This fruit that's coming forth is a result of you being connected to the vine, which is Yahashua. And it's as a result of the Father purging that fruit every year. He's purging that branch. That's what I want to say. He's purging that branch. All of this fruit that you bear is a result of that. Without that, you have nothing. You are not able on your own to please the Father. And I know a lot of people with their religious ideas, their religious conformities, their man-made doctrines, they think that they're pleasing the Father. But I'm telling you, your fruit is not fruit unless it's coming from the source. Otherwise, it's disconnected from the vine and it's death. Okay. What is life? Life discusses the quality of living. Again, we've mentioned this. It's about being alert. It's activeness. It's animation. Okay. John 10. Let's go there real quick. John 10. Let's start at verse 9. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture. Now, he says, I'm the deliverer or the protector. Okay. The one that heals, preserves, and saves, that causes you to do well. That's what salvation is. He said, he shall be saved and shall go out and find pasture. Now, what does a shepherd do? He puts his sheep in a position where they feel safe. Therefore, if the wolf comes, the shepherd's responsibility and his job is to keep the wolf out of his flock or any other predator that will come in to jeopardize the safety of those sheep. He says you'll go in and out and find pasture. So this door that is to be entered in, this is where we find deliverance or protection. That's literal or figurative. This is where we find healing or preservation. Okay. This is where we are made whole because we have the salvation of this person who is the door, the one that is protecting the sheep. Okay. What does this mean? Here's the guy who comes to shut the lights off. I'm going to give you an example of the guy that comes to shut the light off, because we've talked about the one who we find safety in, the one whom life is stemming from, the one whom is that vine and who causes us to bear much fruit. That's where life and vitality are. But I'm going to give you a hint on this guy who comes to shut the lights off and causes you to walk, or causes you to walk in darkness, so to speak. Be sure, this is what I want you to be sure of though, that your eyes are not adjusted to the darkness. See, a lot of people are really messed up because what's happened is they've walked in darkness so long, their eyes are adjusting to the darkness. So when truth comes forth, they see it as a adversary. They don't understand that that truth is to come turn the light on. They've walked in the darkness so long because their eyes have adjusted to that darkness. And so now when the light shines, it's like, whoa, what's all this new stuff going on? And they don't want to receive it. So be sure that your eyes are not accustomed to darkness and that you're not walking in darkness. Don't delude yourself with a false temporary sense of pleasure. And that is this thing that has come to delude us and come to shut the lights off, to cause you to adjust your eyes to the darkness. It's a temporary pleasure thing. And a lot of people are at that place where it's about their fleshly desires, where it's about what makes them feel good. I've even heard people say, you know, in listings or in places where in these social websites, I listen to music as long as it makes me feel good. Well, that's going to be a problem because there are a lot of things that can make your flesh feel good. Your flesh has pretty much a mind of its own unless you're walking by the Spirit or walking in the Spirit.